Hello guys, patch 13.17 is out. Let's see what Riot Games prepared for us today. Finally, Atrox gets some magic damage. As far as I remember, that had to happen quite long ago. I'm not sure why it's happening only in patch 13.17, but well, that's definitely a great thing to have, because this way it will be just harder to generally stack some resists against Atrox. I love it. That's not biggie, like that's not a lot, but it's always good to have something to add on top of your just physical or on top of your just magical damage. That's cool. Action, some base stats adjustments. Plus 3 HP per level, armor grows plus 0.5 per level. Kinda whatever, considering the fact that he's losing AD at the same time. Like, gets some durability, loses some AD. I don't see the reason to nerf him or like just reduce his AD in general, because I didn't see Akshan too often recently. Like, he's not a weak champion by any means, but I just don't see a reason why would you reduce his AD. It's just weird to me. Blitzcrank. Oof. Wow, every single spell is changed. Alright. Base health is increased by 17, whatever. Magic resistance is increased by 4. Cool. Base attack speed is little reduced. Makes sense considering Blitzcrank's overdrive. Attack speed ratio is reduced as well. Alright. Passive mana barrier, shield strength 15 to 45% of maximum mana, 30% of maximum mana. So it's actually a good buff for level 1. Not only for level 1, like in generally for early game. That's interesting. That's very interesting idea in general to buff Blitzcrank's early game, because he's kinda an impressive early game champion already. Overdrive, mana cost is reduced. Bonus attack speed is reduced as well. I mean, it kinda makes sense to me, because you normally max overdrive second after your hook. So it kinda makes sense to me that they nerf the way it scales. But I also like the fact that they reduce mana cost, because Blitzcrank always runs out of mana, so it makes sense to me. Right? Power Fist, bonus physical damage is alright, so it scales of... That's solid. That's actually very solid for such a powerful spell. And mana cost is reduced by 15. Removed bonus damage to non-champions. E no longer deals a bonus 150% CD, 125% CP to non-champions. Man, this is strong. This is so cool. I mean, yes, support Blitzcrank doesn't build AD, but 25 mana cost on Power Fist, it's very good. It's so damn good. Crazy. Alright. Ulti. Passive damage is the same. Skills are not touched. Oh, wait. Now it scales of maximum mana. Man, I love it so much. It's crazy. It's super good change. Wow. I love it. I wonder how Blitzcrank gonna perform in this patch, but man, on paper it looks super good. Awesome. I'm happy. Elise. Bonus magic damage on basic attacks is increased. Yeah, it's increased by 2. AP ratios are not touched. On hit healing and basic attacks is increased by 2 as well. AP ratio is the same. I mean, probably you don't want to buff it too much, considering the fact that you can have multiple spiders, right? I think like 3 or 4, probably 3. So probably it makes sense to just slightly buff it, kind of. Stun duration cocoon is increased as you level the spell. That's a good buff, actually. That's a good buff, but is it relevant? I think as Elise you max Q into W, and after that you get E. I'm not too sure. Like I'm not an Elise main, not gonna lie, but I think you should max Cocoon as a sword spell. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, definitely an Elise one trick would be happy about that because eventually, once you will get your level 18 and you will get this huge benefit of 0.4 seconds of target being stunned. But I'm just not sure how relevant this change is. Alright. Gnar, physical 80 damage is increased. It's his mega form. Scales are not touched. But auto, not the auto, but flat damage is increased by 20. That's not bad. That's not bad for such a spell. Okay. W is increased by 20 as well. Not bad. I mean, it's really interesting way to bring back Gnar into the meta, and I'm really happy Riot Games don't want to overtune Gnar with like super strong buffs, like buffing his minor form, like making him super good for laning phase or something like that. Like it's very wise idea to buff Gnar step by step, because Gnar is kinda out of meta for like solo queue at least. I'm not sure how it goes in competitive. But in solo queue I saw Gnar probably like 1 or 2 times in the season, and they didn't do too hot. So I see him being a good target for buff, but at the same time I don't want to for Gnar to become another overpowered top laner. I want Gnar being just slightly buffed and see how he performs afterwards. And this is a very good way to buff him, like just add some damage on his mega form. Hecarim. Mana regen grows. Mana grows decreased, but mana regen is increased, so it kind of makes up. Base mana is increased by 3 points, whatever. Q rampage. Wait, so interesting. They don't nerf Hecarim. It's been a while since they buffed Hecarim instead of nerfing him. Spirit of Dread. Okay, mana cost is reduced as well. Omnivam 25% plus 2% of 100 bonus AD of damage dealt. 20% of damage dealt. Note, this is still post-mitigation damage dealt. So it doesn't scale of bonus AD at all now? I'm not sure, but it sounds kinda doomed for Hecarim, to be honest. Like 25 into 20? Alright. Terrible, but we'll take it. But you guys remove the entire scaling, and Hecarim normally has like what, like 350 AD? Something like that. So he would normally have plus 7%, so like 32% of Omniwamp, and now it's like 20. So that's roughly 55-60% Vamp reduction. I don't know, I might be wrong. Maybe I'm just calculating it in a wrong way, but I don't know, like it sounds kinda doomed for Hecarim mains. I mean, let's see how Hecarim performs, but like I'm not sure how it was on lower ranks, but on higher ranks I barely saw any Hecarims in last patch, so I don't see he needed more nerfs, to be honest. But well. WAD ratio decreased by 20. Flat damages are decreased by 5 damage. Kinda whatever. I mean, come on, guys. Like Kane is still useless champion if he doesn't have form anyways. So nerfing his like flat numbers is not really what matters. Like I feel like can't prior his form, only suffers from getting basic stats nerfed, or like damage to jungle monsters with Q. That would matter a lot. Q AD ratio decreased, so it scales with 5% less now. Flat damage is not touched. I'm happy that they didn't touch the flat damage because that's like Kha'Zix's Q is the reason why Kha'Zix is Kha'Zix. Why Kha'Zix is popular as he is. So nerfing his Q has to be very mindful, I'd say. Like, you don't want to nerf this spell too often, and you don't want to just over nerf his Q, because that's the way how you kill the champion. Kindred. Kindred. It's E. Alright. Alright. Now. Man, so many scales on her E, it's crazy. Alright, flat damage remains the same. AD scale remains the same. Damage per target's missing health is reduced by 3%. Alright, finally I got it. Slow is reduced by 20%. Yeah, it's just straight up nerf. I mean, it's kinda a huge nerf to Kindred, not gonna lie. She relies on this slow. Like, this slow is very important for Kindred, and nerfing it by 20% basically means nerfing it almost by half. Like, yeah, damage is kinda the same, but her E, at least as I see it, is not the reason why you. It's not the reason. Like, it's not about the damage, right? It's not about the damage. It's more about slow. So nerfing slow is much more crucial for her than nerfing the actual damage. I don't know. I'm really scared about Kindred's future because Kindred was really strong with this Triforce Black Cleaver meta, and afterwards she was just getting nerfed over and over. I can get that she was kind of oppressive to play against as jungler because Kindred is a type of jungler who perma invades you, but at the same time, it's kind of weird to nerf the champion instead of nerfing the items why she's strong. Like, probably nerfing Triforce and Black Cleaver for ranged champions would make more sense. Lux. Base mana regeneration is reduced by 1. Magic damage on passive is increased. Interesting. I didn't see Lux buffs for a while, and scaling is increased by 5%. Man, that's interesting. Okay. Q. 11 seconds at all ranks. And now it scales? Wow. Alright. Magic damage on E is reduced though by 5. Not biggie. I mean, 5 damage on E for 2 seconds cooldown on her binding and 5% scaling on her passive. I would go for this trade any day of the week. Plus base mana regeneration. Wait, base mana regeneration is reduced. So it's kinda. I mean, it affects both mid and support in an equal way. I still think it can be solved once you get Lost Chapter, but for support it's probably a little bit more serious of a nerf since it takes longer for you to finish your Lost Chapter. Interesting, definitely an interesting change. Naafiri, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a nerf. Naafiri was so oppressive. Base HP is reduced by 15, good. Cooldown on passive 25 to 10 based on level, 30 to 15. Alright. Naafiri packmates will now take 100% bonus damage from melee attacks. Obviously had to happen 100%. Drakin daggers, recast minimum damage is nerfed by 5 units. Alright. What? Wait, scaling is nerfed by 30%? What? Alright, recast maximum damage. Flat damage is nerfed by 10%, scaling remains the same. Recast heal amount is nerfed by 20. So Q is basically nerfed at everything what's possible, aside from cooldown. But man, 30% scaling? Are you guys insane in the head? Like, what? 30%? Man, that's brutal. That's actually brutal. Yeah, like she was powerful, but 30%? Sounds a little bit stupid to me. Alright, E. Dash physical damage. Flat numbers remain the same. Scaling is increased by 10%. Flurry physical damage remains... flat damage remains the same. Scaling is reduced by 10%. I mean, it's an overall nerf. It's just a straight up nerf. I mean, she had to get nerfed, like she was too powerful, but I'm not sure if that's not too much. I feel like that's a little bit too much to for champion to stay alive. Oriana, health growth increased, W base damage increased. So plus 5 HP per level. I mean, plus 50 HP at level 10. Kinda not that biggie. W flat damage is kinda getting solid buff. Normally, as far as I can recall, normally you've been getting W as a second spell. You've been maxing Q into W. Is it worth it to max W now to one-shot ranged minions? Probably yes. So instead of going QWE, you can potentially go WQE. I mean, it has to be tested anyways, but for now, I definitely want Oriana to be buffed a little bit because in solo queue, I rarely see her, like almost never, to be honest with you guys. Queen, health growth increased. That's something. 8 HP per level is not that bad. I mean, that's at least 80 HP at level 10. That's at least one basic attack. Blinding Assault. Physical damage. It's getting nerfed. I mean, the flat damage is getting nerfed. Scaling remains the same. Is Queen like that strong that you guys want to nerf her? E. Volt. Flat damage is nerfed by 20. Scales remain the same. I mean, guys, like no one plays this champion. Like seriously. Yeah, she is kinda annoying to play against during the laning phase, but the champion is super difficult to pilot her well. Like it's far from being the easiest champion on top lane. Like bro, you can pick Malphite, press R and being useful, and with Queen you have to press million buttons, kite the guy during the laning phase perfectly. Find good flanks, assassinate enemy champions in their jungle, and yet you nerf such a champion. This is so far the worst nerf in this patch. I don't see the reason to nerf Queen like at all. It's weird to me. Samira, base health increased. That's cool. That's cool. Because Samira mains tend to be aggressive since level 1. And I wouldn't say she's like that strong that people consider her to be level 1. So this base health buff is definitely a plus. Tryndamere attack range increased. Attack range increased from 125 to 175. Attack damage is increased from 72. It's reduced from 72 to 68. So you basically lose 4 damage, but you gain 50 attack range. I mean, that's a very controversial change to me. Like, yeah, that makes sense because Tryndamere is kinda he's kind of forgotten pick. Like, no one plays Tryndamere. Whenever I see Tryndamere, they lose lane. So it kind of makes sense to me that to just find some changes to Tryndamere, right? But I'm not sure if nerfing his AD is a key, even though you buff such a great stat as attack range for Tryndamere. We'll see. We'll see. Q wildcards. Flat damage remains the same. Scaling is increased by 10%. No biggie, no biggie, no biggie definitely. But buff it Twisted Fate is definitely a difficult thing to do. Like, if you want to buff Twisted Fate, it's a very difficult thing to do. If you don't want to just make the champion broken, because he already is borderline meta. Like, he is not popular, obviously. He's not picked too often, but at the same time, he can be played in pretty much any game. So I can see the reason why he's getting slightly buffed. I'm just worrying that this can be a reason for TF to be real popular in pro play, even though the champion is kinda difficult to pilot him well. Vex. I don't remember last time when I saw Vex. I think I saw one Vex in this season. Flat damage is increased by 10, scaling remains the same on Q. On W, cooldown is reduced early on. I mean, that's a solid buff on W. That's a very solid buff on W. On Q, that's not that biggie. I mean, whatever. W looks solid. Right. Why? Interesting. Shield strengths 10% of Y's maximum health to 12% of Y maximum health. Passive cooldown reduction 3 to 4 seconds. Okay. Cooldown on E is buffed as well. Wait. She's getting buffed. Wait. Physical damage. Alright, at least her ult is getting nerfed. So they want to make Vi more of like tanky bruisers and like damage dealing bruiser who one-shots everyone. This is definitely a serious nerf to lethality Vi builds. But at the same time, this is a very solid buff. Like, seriously, a very solid buff to Bruiser Y. Especially early on. This is something that you might notice. Zerad base mana regeneration is reduced. Cooldown refunded on unit kill 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Okay. W Eye of Destruction mana cost is increased by 10. I mean, it kind of looks like a nerf to Zerad support. It doesn't look like end of the world, but mana regen nerf kind of blows, since you got to spam your spells as Zerad. In order to poke someone, you need to spam your spells. I'm not sure if it kills him, but probably it's just better to pick someone like Vel'Koz if you want to play pokey support with huge range. But definitely Vel'Koz is harder than Dirt at the same time. Passive heal adjusted. Let's see. So it was giving us 6 to 74, scaling of 10% AD and 65% AP. Now it scales of maximum health 3, 3.5 and 4, level 1, 6, 11, and only scales of AP, doesn't scale of AD at all. Is it above though? I'm not sure. This one is weird to me. Oh, they explained. The mass determination works out to be a strict buff with no item purchase at all. A nerf if every item gives AD and no health. And the buff with every single hybrid durability item like Triforce, Gold Drinker or Black Cleaver. So, in fact, in fact, it's a buff, because you never get any items that just give strictly AD for Xin Zhao. You normally go something like, yeah, pretty much like Triforce, Gold Drinker, Black Cleaver, Death Dance, these type of items. So it's a buff, it's definitely a buff. How big is that? It's a question mark, I believe, because if that would be an obvious buff, I would notice it immediately. Zoe is getting buffed. Hate this champion, but for Zoe mains had to happen eventually because Zoe is not popular at all. And I believe these small buffs, they won't really make a huge difference for Zoe mains, because Zoe just feels bad in this meta. I mean, magic resist reduction is definitely cool for her Q, so she can keep one-shotting the targets who she managed to sleep. But at the same time, I mean, it looks like a huge buff, right? It looks like a huge buff. But at the same time, I just feel like it's very difficult to play Zoe efficiently in current meta. As simple as it. Blood Sorcerer. Getting nerfed, had to happen. Honestly, Blood Sorcerer was just... It was just too good. It wasn't broken, but it was just better than any other AD item. Duskblade. Now destroys incoming non-tower projectiles when triggered. No longer makes the owner immune to damage while untargetable. Alright, so when you... I see. Well, guys, I don't want to sound toxic or something, but this item looks like shit. If you want to play assassin who needs vitality item, you should probably consider Eclipse or Yomo as your mythic now, because these looks just straight up badly. Maybe I don't get it as they wanted to design it, but to me it looks just bad. Even Shroud getting nerfed. Fantastic. Thank you, Zach. Thank to all Zach mains. Thank to Showmaker who started to play Yon mid with Even Shroud. So support items get nerfed. Get the nerf on the only mythic item that is kinda good. Fantastic. Because this Even Shroud item is literally the only item that I feel like was kinda good, considering support items line recently, because all the support items got massively nerfed over the course of the season, like Imperial Mandate, this new green item, I forgot the name, Even Shroud now, Locket is just straight up bad, because yeah, the active thingy is good, but the mythic bonus is terrible. Yeah. It's just terrible. Stats are decent, but like mythic bonus of like 3 armor and 2 magic resist or whatever it is just too low. Goredrinker remains the same, but has more HP, plus 100 HP. Not bad. Honestly, not bad at all. A very solid buff. I mean, the item is good itself, like it's already good. So giving it plus 100 HP without increasing its cost probably will make the item broken, but well, yeah, no, should be alright. Immortal Shield Bow, Lifeline Shield. It's increased as well. Wait, what do you mean it's weak in current state? Yeah, I mean, it's not as high priority as Blood Sorceries, but what do you mean it's weak? It's a normal item. It's not broken. It's not weak. It's just a normal item. Why would you buff Shield Bow? It's retarded. I don't like this buff. It's weird. Spear of Shojin. AD is nerfed by 5. Combined cost is increased. But total cost is not changed, right? Yeah, total cost is not changed. Health is increased by 150 as well. Is it like durability patch or what? Wait. I don't like what I see. 8% haste for melee champions. Now it's 16? Ah, they reduced the scaling. They reduced the scaling, so it's now stronger early on. And this is above before 200 bonus AD. So this is a buff for early game. That's a huge buff for early game, but no for like later stages of the game. Man, Spear of Shojin Renekton or Spear of Shojin Jax. Yikes! Like yikes! Like what the hell is that? I'm not positive if it's going to be like first item. I don't think it's a good first item, but a second item, man, that's crazy. Like imagine fighting Renekton with this item. Crazy stuff. Static shield. Bonus damage against champions. 100 to 180. Bonus. They reduced AP ratio even further. Man, this is what? This is like third nerf or what? Or fourth nerf? Alright, that should be a final nerf to AP Kai'Sa. I hope. I really hope. Health is increased by 75 to Stridebreaker. Makes sense because no one really gets Stridebreaker beside Olaf and Garen, I believe. At least I did. I don't remember anyone taking this item to frequently recently. I remember there was one build for Kai'Sa with Stridebreaker, but I believe that was a very niche one, and that was like only one player building it. Future Market is getting nerfed. Right. Had to happen. Drone is just too strong. This is a buff starting at 18 minutes. I mean, you don't really care about Futures Market at 18 minutes, to be honest. Like, what's the matter of Futures Market at 18 minutes if you get this rune basically for early game? Like, bro. Alright, catch-up experience. In the jungle has mostly been working as intended, but there have been a few unusual cases that have cropped up where it doesn't feel like the enemy is truly behind enough to be getting catch-up experience. This is usually due to the way the average level calculation was rounded, so in some cases a player was just barely over 2 levels down from the average, which ended up rounding to 3 levels below, and thus triggering catch-up experience. We're shifting the way it rounds to not always round up and thus resolve a lot of these rare cases, so it doesn't feel like the enemy jungle is nearly clawing their way back into the game. It had to happen. Like, catch-up experience is just retarded system. Doesn't really matter how much you outfarm the enemy jungler, they still somehow maintain the same level as you. How, you ask me? I don't know. I will answer. It's like, it's just overall a stupid concept. I don't think catch-up experience has to be a thing, like, at all. Like, if you're losing jungle early on, you have to be punished. You got to get your punishment. Build your jungle road wiser. Don't die to enemy jungler. Don't do stupid ganks. Farm your jungle. Farming has to be rewarding. Ganking has to be rewarding as well, but it doesn't make sense if the jungler spends 40 seconds in the bush and at 4 minutes has the same level as I am. If I'm power farming, like, what's the point? Dragon patience. Alright, added the patience bar and leash range indicator to all dragons. Finally, that's very good. That's one probably the best change in this patch overall. Whew. Did we finish? Yeah, we did. Oh, $200 jean skin. Fantastic. Alright. I mean, a very interesting patch. Guys, those who play top lane, I definitely recommend you trying this Spear of Shojin item with Renekton, with Jax. Probably there are some other top laners who I didn't mention. Probably with Fiora as well. This item looks so oppressive. Just try it, guys. You won't regret. But for now, that's all. This patch 13.17 rundown. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. And see you next patch in patch 13.18. Bye.